What's up, guys? It's your boy GRC. This is Crypto in the Morning. How is everybody doing today? Wow. Hold on one second. Let's make sure all my stuff's set up. Big stuff today, guys. What a beautiful day. Let's check the chat really quick, guys. Seeking Crypto, what's good? KS, to a blue sky morning and a coffee. Yes. Tara H, how you doing? Elliot. Ooh, steak. I love me some steak, guys. How is everybody doing? DeFi Proof in the house. What is going on here? DeFi Proof's up early with his coffee, getting it in the studio probably. Hex Pimp. Oh shit, DeFi Proof. Exactly what I just said. Frack, good to see ya. Hex Hodl. Guys, I'm really jacked up. I'm keeping my voice low because there's someone in the other room for a second. But Monica Mofit Meals, great to see you, sweetheart. You are the best. Crypto Bigfoot Bullish, going to wrench you. Ooh, GK Musica. The sauce is here. Is this the sauce, chat? Oh shoot, my earbuds are still in. The sauce, DeFi Proof. RH, good morning, folks. Just dropped a new blog on being careful on free claims. Yeah, I got robbed on a free claim. Sucked. Back. So go check out RH Max. I'm going on his show later, guys. I'll be on there today at 4 p.m. Central Time. I think that's 7 p.m. Eastern. Crypto Gains Club. Hex Softball. Everything's rolling in, guys. I can't. I'm off. I'm off duty. Torin, they're coming in too hot now. Guys, I have a few things to say before we let up. So what was the news of the town last night and this morning? A 600-page bill. And what is my bullcrap meter starts going bazonk. When I hear 600-page bill, I hear a bunch of bullshit. That's all that is to me. You know, and it's so frustrating, Sam, because I have these conversations with my family all the time. And they truthfully believe that the bills and the legislation that are being written are in some way, shape, or form fair and transparent. And whether or not it's good or bad for the economy, fair and transparent is not their point. Their point is sneaky, under the radar, get it done while nobody knows. Nobody will read a 600-page paper. Nobody knows what's going on here. So let's convince every adult in America that they do know what's going on, so they're absolutely clueless. Because I want to know, when I go back to my house and to other places, how many people read the 600-page I want to know how many people read the 600-page document before they mention anything about crypto to me ever again. And just in general, because it's people think, oh, there could be a guy that went to Harvard right in front of me. And he's like, I went to Harvard, so let's talk crypto. And I'm like, get your stupid ass out of here. You never studied crypto. You studied something else. Crypto just happened. We're talking about 4% adoption rate. You have no idea. You don't understand. If you feel like you might not know what's going on in crypto, you have no fucking clue what's going on in crypto, because the people that do know still don't know, because there's lots of variables. And you'll find the smartest people in crypto are the most open-minded. Because it's a very, like, the first thing that everybody thought when we saw 600-page is bullshit. But the first thing Sam saw, opportunity. He saw it right away. And because he has learned different shit than me. Okay? He has read different documents. He has compared and contrast different things over his life than I have. So he said, oh, wait, Jim Rat, hold on a second. And Bullish said, hold on a second too. He said, these things can sound. And then by the end of the conversation, you almost feel like they're just hedging their bets. They're just doing what they can, because mass adoption is happening now. Sam. Literally, Sam, now, right now, people have no clue what is about to happen. Look at the economy. Look at what's going on. The bear market, it is absolutely mind-blowing when you look at the adoption numbers that everyone ignores, by the way. No one pretends like they're real. They're just like, oh, if Cult doesn't have, or if Hex doesn't have a good marketing scheme here, it's going to go to zero real quick. But it's like, can we talk serious for a sec? Can we look at these numbers? The people that are DMing me all day long, they have no mutual followers. They're asking about Hex. They're asking about Pulse. They don't know what's going on. They don't even know who Richard Hart is. That's called punching a little harder, guys. We got to punch a little harder, but I think Sam's going to come in here hot and show you guys a total just switch up in perspective, like right off the jump. And I'm really excited to talk to him about the positives potentially of this bill and the nuclear parabolic adoption rate that is going to melt everyone's face off. Guys, let's cut it off. I'm keeping my hands off the keys, Bullish. So you can press whatever video you need to.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stake. Got me some hedron, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way. DeFi Pro, yeah. Crypto in the morning. 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 Crypto in the morning.
Yo, what is up, dude? That was amazing.
Yes.
DeFi proof. What is up? I'm over here and I'm like, holy, this is fantastic. I love it. This is amazing. I've never had a rap song about me before, and this is fucking fire.
We gotta run that back. Shout out to DeFi proof. Shout out to DeFi proof. Man of his word. I'm gonna run that back just one more time because it was fire.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. 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 Smoking a blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. I'm already tuned in. Got me some hacks and I'm making a stake. Got me some hedron, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way. DeFi Pro. Crypto in the morning. 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 Crypto in the morning.
This fucking fire.
Amazing.
Yes. Where's DeFi? Thank you, sir. This is awesome.
Yo.
That's amazing.
Yo. Hold on.
If you guys appreciate this hard work that goes into all of what DeFi is doing, check him out on Twitter and on his YouTube channel. Bullish, I'm sure we'll drop them down below.
I'm gonna drop a link. By the way, DeFi Proof just launched his podcast, The Sauce. So go check out his podcast.
Go check out my boy.
I'm gonna drop it in the links. I'm gonna drop it in the chat. Thank you to DeFi Proof. Thank you to GK Musika, who's in the chat as well, for putting the beat together. Amazing. Got my maxi just in case.
I'm making it rain. Yes. Dope. Look at how happy people are in the bear market.
To show you the way.
Smoking a blunt on the way to the gym.
Shout out to DeFi Proof. And on that note, guys, that was a great transition into.
That was a good surprise. That was a great surprise.
I want to say this before Sam goes on his tangent real quick, because he's got a lot to cover and talk about. And you can pretty much just go on your roll about what you've been doing over the last 2 days, over the last day, what we talked about this morning. Guys, share this out real quick. I'm going to drop a link in the bottom. Just let everyone know. You have some plebs in your friends list. Tell them that we will save their life and we'll give them mercy in a bear market with fun, education, and absolute bangers from DeFi. But yes, guys, please share this out. Hit the like button. Sam, tell me a little bit about what's going on.
What is going on? I had an amazing back workout this morning, and I got that done. And then you tagged me on Twitter. You sent me a text message. You're like, yo, did you see that thing that came out this morning? So we got two things we're going to talk about today, right? There's some stuff going on with Telegram related to crypto. How so? Because a lot of people in crypto are heavy on Telegram. So the Telegram thing is related to crypto because a lot of people in crypto use Telegram every day to communicate. Some stuff was coming out about that we're going to touch on. And then we got into this awesome bill. So I have not read the 600 pages, just like you mentioned. I bet that nobody in the government has read these 600 pages. That is probably normal. It probably put forth by a bunch of people that are in legacy, right, to help them actually blow up their own bags. But there's definitely some positive that I see. That was interesting when you were doing the intro. And you're like, yeah, I was telling Sam about this. The first thing out of his mouth is like, dude, there's massive opportunity here. And I completely agree. When we've talked about this adoption curve, right? We've talked about this at where we are is such a pivotal moment in history because we're going to look back. We're going to talk to our kids in 10 years and 15 years. And they're going to be like, wait, you lived through that time when you guys used to use dollars? You lived through that time when there was no cell phones? We're going through that moment in history where we're going to have a massive adoption curve, and we're going to watch it play out.
People that think Bitcoin's going to be the only thing that pops. And for those people, if you are in this chat and you actually are naive enough to think the greatest technology in the last decade will go unnoticed for the absolute 13-year-old tech 5-hour transaction time, and I can only get to the 5-hour transaction time because that's all I ever mention because it gives me severe anxiety. Whenever I remember transacting Bitcoin, I didn't know it took 5 hours. Nobody told me. They said Bitcoin numero uno, and I said, where'd my money go? I'm scared. And don't you extrapolate that over everyone in the world? Seems a little unrealistic when things like Ethereum are out here and they're so clean and they're so, Uniswap is clean.
Well, do we still have the same iPhone 1, right? And technology has changed, right? The same thing, but I feel like because it's software, it's literally just software in the cloud. That software, and because it's open source, unlike a lot of the stuff with the iPhone, the iterative, that just means like you make a change and then you make another change, to the process or software. And the iterative process of how software works is lightning speed compared to, say, making changes to this mason jar, right? And when you look at Bitcoin and how slow things have changed on that side, by the way, potentially next week, I forgot to mention this earlier, somebody from Australia is coming on my channel, and we're going to talk about the development that is actually happening on Bitcoin, because I was under the perception no development was happening on Bitcoin. I was like, oh, Bitcoin's dead. But and I don't know enough about it. So this guy was like, hey man, I love your show. I'm big Hexican. I love what you're doing. He's like, a lot of people in the Hex community are not actually aware that there's a lot of development happening on Bitcoin. I was like, dude, awesome. I'm open to learn. Come on in.
That a lot.
Yeah. So this is going to be such an interesting time. Imagine a macro bear market where there's destruction everywhere. Jobs are getting automated left and right. Every month, there's new jobs getting automated left and right, which is literally happening today. You also have these. God,
it's not even it happened. Like it's like there's not even people at McDonald's anymore like there used to be. Like for real. Like the bottom level jobs. You go to Home Depot, you don't see motherfuckers like you used to.
And you also have people like us, right? You have smart, ambitious, talented people that'll never go back. You've literally told me over the last week like 5 times. You're like, bro, if it was like I had to go get another job, I would just live in a tent in my backyard, and I would rent out my room to do this because there's no effing way I'm going back. There's no way I'm going to waste
time. When we're talking about the best technology in the world now, we're talking about efficiency, scaling. Everything is moving backwards from here. For me, this is the best, most intellectual, most entrepreneurial potential space I can be in. So if you want to throw me somewhere else, I'm not going to do it.
And that's exciting because we have automation happening. We layer on top of that smart, talented, ambitious people that are leaving the workforce in droves.
Oh, in droves is right.
And they're starting their own thing because now You can start a $1 or $2 million business in your office at home with no overhead, because you could outsource. If you need help for something, you need an admin, you can get a VA, you could hire somebody in Budapest or India or Philippines for less than $10 an hour to help you out. And you can run a $1 or $2 million enterprise. Yes, that's not necessarily gigantic, but for a lot of people watching, that's big. If you have a 40% margin on there, you got 800 grand a year. Like that's a lot of money to a lot of people. And you could do that all yourself. And people are recognizing this and leaving these companies. So imagine a time we're entering into where we're entering into a bear market. So a macro level bear market with all those things that I just mentioned happening. And crypto turns into the diamond that is happening because it is getting adopted faster and faster and faster. You mentioned this in the intro. People are adopting crypto every single day. Even if it's a bear market, there's still adoption happening.
They don't even know a lot of the time. Like people don't know like what's really going on. Like it's not as crypto is not what people think that don't understand crypto. It's just a front. It's just a server that no one happens. It's just like a website that no one owns that functions. It's a product. I mean, it's a protocol. There's nobody there. Or like I was talking to my dad yesterday, and he looked at me sideways when I said there was no middleman. And he's like, "What do you mean there's no middleman? Richard Hart, this guy, the other guy." And I'm like, "You just don't get it. You're just not willing to get it. You're not willing because it only takes 10 minutes to realize that it's a website that nobody owns. It's a protocol. It's software. It's closed. It doesn't work. But to get to that point where you actually want to learn and actually want to be open-minded enough to learn, you can't expect people to be there. So talking to people is just not in the cards for me."
But that we'll tie that into the legislation that's coming. But we'll get to the Telegram. But that we'll come back to this with you mentioned with your dad, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's no middleman in there, right? That is hard concept to grasp, and also a scary thing, a risky thing. And there's a lot of people. There's a lot of smart, hardworking, talented people with a lot of money, a lot more money than I have at least, that are not in crypto for some of those reasons. And this piece of legislation is going to open the floodgates. It's going to be cray town, and it is going to be awesome.
My dad said I got robbed by a guy in college who's a millionaire now, and he reminds me of Richard Hart. And I don't like it. And I said, well, those two stories are really far apart because Richard Hart wrote a fucking self-help book. Like, how long does it take people to realize like how hard it is to do certain things, right? How much effort does a man need to put in? While my father or other people, right, sit there and listen and read anything negative about someone, but they refuse because of the taboo, because of the different, because it's new. They don't know. They want to know, but they don't know. My dad doesn't understand the internet life. My dad doesn't understand any of that stuff. My dad's also not going to help the hex price pump very much because it's just maybe in some world he would where he was going all in, but of course that's not going to be his calling until it's $5 or $10 and his bank account person tells him to do it. So, and that's just him. He mentioned to me that I wouldn't mind investing into crypto, but I don't want to be rich. That's not why I invested into crypto. And I looked at him as sideways as a man can look at another man. He mentioned,
yeah, that's why I was just like,
what? First of all, my dad is rich. So First of all, Dad, you're richer than everyone. So you should perspective. How much more effective can you be in this world with $1 billion? If you have a good heart and a good spirit and you want to help and you want to change. Well, he doesn't believe that people truthfully want to do that in this community, and that is where he's wrong. There is nothing left for us to do. Richard has billions of dollars. It doesn't matter anymore. Like, at what point are people going to realize, like, this is a movement, this is technology? There are Elon Musk. There are guys that invented Microsoft. There are guys that invented Apple. They did have something bigger in mind, period.
How do you create that impact? It's easier, in my opinion, to create that impact when you've got a couple more zeros on your bank account, right? In your investments, in your cash flow on a monthly basis or daily basis. When you have that cash coming in, you can create more impact, right? If you're talking about whatever it is you want to talk about and you haven't accomplished anything, it's more challenging to get people to listen to you. But if you're talking about shit and you've got a 100 mil in the bank, or you've got cash flow of 5 or 6 million coming in a month from a business or entity or thing that you've created, then it's easier to get people to listen to you because you have that impact. You can take that cash and you can use that tool that is money to go leverage your voice to create more impact. So if somebody wants to impact the world in a positive way, if they see the things that our governments are doing around the world, and they see the idiotic policies that are getting put in place that are against the people in the respective countries, and they want to create more impact and they want to create that change, I urge you to take as much responsibility as you can for your life. Brutally honest with yourself and start creating more of the impact by getting your financial house in order and creating abundance in all areas. There's enough money out there for everybody. Go create that cash so that you can create more impact on the world.
And you can spend more time with your family. Like, I mean, the whole like I don't want to be rich thing is like the biggest. It's so
I'll be rich as fuck.
There's so much built up baloney
Giving
resentment.
up.
Yeah, well, it's like it's baloney resentment. It's like why not me? Why? What am I going to do wrong? What have I done wrong? There's nothing wrong with me for wanting to be rich and being impactful. Only certain people will do it. So why can't the people that want to do it just do it? They're going to do it anyway. I'm going to do it anyway. And then I know until I start buying shit and houses, my parents are just going to ignore me. And that's fine. Like, it's totally okay. But at the same time, they don't need real saving, so they're fine. Like, I mean, they're cool. Like, so it's again, it's a lot of it's me too. It's like I want to tell people what's going on, and they don't give a shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's
but that'll change because in the next 18 months, when you added a couple of zeros to your monthly income, and you're just, bro, I've been telling you this for the last 2 years, right? Mm-hmm. You can just, hey, I told you so, right? Yeah. You can get them that sticker. You'd be like, hey, mom, I got you something. She opens the envelope and it just says, "Told you so, motherfucker," right? Like it just opens out.
They don't support me. They really do support me. But they think I'm getting robbed, you know, and they don't think that I have the insight, which is just like Jesus. Like, I mean, at this point, how many streams do I have to do for 3 hours about crypto before you think I have more insight than others? It's like, come on. It's like 7,000 hours. Is that when you're gonna think I know more than you? Like 10,000 hours? Like at what point? And you have 3 hours under your belt and two Google clicks. Like, just be open-minded. I realize Sam has resources that I don't. I don't belittle him for the things that I think he might know that I don't. I only ask. I ask him. I want to know. I know he knows things that I don't know. The interaction that I have with people is not that way. So I'm just going to leave it to the internet for now. I'm going to treat my family like my family, and I'm not going to argue with people about shit that I believe in because it's pointless. It's just pointless. I just have to push harder than that. You know, now I realize I can push harder than that. Before I was like, you know, what do I do? People need to know. Now I'm like, I'll just do it. Like, you know, fuck off. Like,
just the beginning, dude. Like, I'm excited to see what you build and what we can build together.
It's going to be so good because we have that moral part where it's like, I do not really like, if I have enough money to live, I'm very excited. So I just want to be impactful because all my extra money goes to business, whether it's $1 million or 100,000 or 10,000, it's all going to dump right back in to crypto or business, like right away. So I'm planning on living like this regardless of how much money I make for a year or so.
Easy. Yeah. 100%, dude. Like, because if you just put that snowball, that rolling snowball, that is your business, that is your investments, and you just make another, like double your income on a monthly basis or something, then you take that extra instead of going buying yourself silly shit that doesn't doesn't go up in value, that just goes down in value. You take that extra for several months or several years, and you just dump that back into your business and or investments. And that allows you to double and then double again. And now you're putting a big chunk in there. And over an 18-month period of time or 36-month period of time, you not only do double several times, but you can add a zero or multiple zeros to your income. It is astonishing, right? Like, I'm just getting started, and I've been like on the journey for a while, and I feel like I'm barely getting started. But I think it's about time we should pull up that Telegram leak thing, because I think we wanted to talk about that and go through some of these things. This is kind of interesting. I started reading through this morning, and then I got a phone call, but there was a exploit in the code on Telegram where somebody could go in and actually open this up. You want to get into this real quick and read some of this?
So I'm going to read through this kind of as fast as I can, because it's a little long, but it's not that long. So it's like, I'm going to get through it and just comment when we need to. I don't understand the absolute 100% ethos of this, but I skimmed through it, and it basically is this guy kind of confessing that he knew he was exploiting stuff and kind of letting people know how that happened. It was updated 3 minutes ago, created 4 hours ago. Okay, Sam. So this is very, 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 very brand new.
Okay. Breaking news.
We posted this on Twitter, and here's if you guys want to go to this article, I'll link it below. There's actually I listened through this. It's just a recap, but you can get most of it from reading it. An anonymous Twitter user has announced that they're planning to release a 137 gigabyte of Telegram chats that will likely tear a rift in the entire crypto community. Can you hear that vacuum in the back?
No.
Okay. They claim the platform suffered an exploit in October 2019 that allowed them to collect messages that were sent by a number of targeted individuals and crypto influencers among them. According to this person, they were collecting incriminating data until May this year, including evidence of scams and rug pulls being plotted. Artists pretending to be developers pretending to be artists, those pretending to be rich, those pretending to be poor, pretending to be someone you're not, all of them exposed. And what do we say about this every single episode? The reason this show will never stop is because we are willing to be 100% honest, and most people just are not. I come in here and I ask for help every single day. I don't say I know what's going on with everything, because I just don't. That's stupid.
Who do you this is just hypothetical conjecture. Who do you think is going to be the biggest person that it gets exposed? I don't know. You can let us know what your thoughts are down below in the comments, but this could expose some of those people that are darlings in the crypto space who have been running, pretend shit to screw people over and steal
Not
money.
even pretend shit, like completely misleading pretend shit. Like, they're actually telling you the actual opposite of what's going on in order to steal your money. There will be confusion, there will be sadness, and there will be anger. There will be frustration. On June 15th, says they are planning to publish, and we'll be live on June 15th, from crypto influencers, some of whom they have as many as 1 million followers. Hopefully it's Pompliano, that piece of shit, that they claim the posts include racist and homophobic remarks, and I'm not super concerned about that, as well as discussions about adultery and sexual assault. That's a little more. I mean, adultery, that has nothing to do with crypto. The Telegram logs are also said to show high-profile personalities discussing rug pulls and projects that were designed to be scams in the community. Further posts on June 30th are said to document invitations to orgies on private jets and in mansions. I mean, that's not illegal, as well as individuals who had weird obsessions with ex-girlfriends, also not illegal, and gifted them millions of dollars to win back their love, also not illegal. Like,
you're not winning back somebody's love to give them $1 million. That's called a high-priced prostitute.
But why is this even coming up? Like, wouldn't it be like more crypto dense? It's interesting. Why now? Explaining the rationale. Oh my God, I hope some of the people I know are on here. Explaining the rationale behind their decisions, said that misconceptions about privacy and security on Telegram meant that people became relaxed and expressed themselves more freely. They wrote, "It doesn't matter to me. I'm dying from illnesses that are wreaking havoc on my body. Any money I had will just go to my family, and I will disappear after that, but not before feeling of guilt is released from me, acknowledging that Twitter will probably take the message down," they wrote. "At the end of the day, I did what I could to undo the power of success granted to those who did not deserve it. To those in my life, I am sorry, but this is what I decided to do." This is like me. Like, I'm just like going out on his sword. He's like, "I don't give a shit." CoinMarketCap has reached out, and we have, yeah, I bet they have reached out. They're probably trying to make sure they don't have shit. And we will be unable to confirm whether the claims are genuine or whether the 137 gigabytes in data actually exists. A number of Twitter users have also expressed caution that this could be a scam. Blah 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 blah. I covered
those are probably people who are going to get exposed, right? Like, look at our government, right? Who oh, it's misinformation, right? When they're the actual propagators of the misinformation. So I wouldn't be surprised if the influencers type people that get exposed are the ones who are saying that it is not true, and those people are just trying to hurt somebody or scam somebody. It would be pretty interesting to see what happens. It's almost like this is the white knight. This is the guy it sounds like the person behind this is using this exploit not to do necessarily bad things, but to expose the bad things that were held behind the curtain. They were taking place and in a spot where people thought it was private, and they were getting exposed. We're going to see more and more of this. We've already been seeing this happen with Project Veritas, right? Over the past, well, he's been doing it for years and years, but there's been a lot of that stuff coming out. More and more bad characters in life are going to get exposed. If you're a bad character, maybe you should look yourself in the mirror and decide if that's how you want to live your life.
They don't even care, dude. They forget about the bad characters in like 10 minutes, dude. It's so annoying. It's like every time someone like Daquan rugged the whole world and people are still on his side. Like, it's stupid. It makes no sense. And then people just want to make money. They don't care if the person's actually lying or not. I mean, maybe this guy did in particular, but like in general, people don't care. People know that Richard's not necessarily scamming everyone, but they don't like that he's making more money than everyone. And it bothers them because they're not a part of it. And so they just call him a scam artist because why not? It's low-hanging fruit, right? There's no actual deep dive. There's no actual looking into things. And that is crypto influencers today. They don't know anything. They don't care. They don't want to research. They want to make some popularity thing and no value. I don't know what it is, but it's stupid. It's dumb. It's you're going to die on your deathbed being a fucking loser.
And I think my personal belief in the world is that the truth always wins in the end. It might take a long time. I would love these types of leaks to be coming out around some Jeffrey Epstein and who is on his list. I would love to understand what is going on with that. We see some bullshit trial exposed for some wannabe actors, right? That is all over Twitter every single day for 2 effing weeks. And we don't see anything related to something that's actually impactful in terms of who the corrupt people are in society with Jeffrey Epstein stuff.
Yeah, it's like, why aren't my folks talking about that all the time? Like, why aren't they pissed, or why aren't the people in the streets pissed off about that still? It's because they don't give a crap. They do not care. They pretend they care about civilization and life, but they only care about themselves, but they're not willing to admit that. But that's how humans are. Like, it's just like, we are all like that. So some people just admit it and do better. And some people just pretend and do worse. But again, you have families. My sister was also telling me, like, they just want to protect. They're just protecting their kids. Like, that's it all the time. Like, and that's why the relationship between kids and parents is like, it is something I'm learning about. Like, it's just like family, right? It's not necessarily like anything, you just love each other and you get along with each other, but I don't know what they're doing or talking about or thinking about. And they don't know what I'm doing or talking about.
On a complete tangent, I apologize. I was just thinking about how dope DeFi Proof song is. And we should get that song to be his most listened to song on his YouTube channel when it comes out. Just throwing it out there on a complete tangent.
And just throwing it out there, I'm working on a lyric music video to release.
Can we scroll down on this video? U.S. crypto bill alleged leaked regulators to go hard this time. Scroll down to past this one. I want to go past this one just because so right here, we can just look at this tweet real quick so people can recognize it at least. It's from this guy named, I can't remember his name, but his name is Bot Slam, and he basically published the whole thing. Obviously, we're not going to read into it on the show, but we are going to discuss the article that was written about it. So if you scroll down, we'll get to the ethos of the article, and I'll read it, and Sam can kind of interpret this. So what does the crypto bill encapsulate? As such, the crypto bill provides regularity, clarity, and burst clouds of doubt that currently linger. And that is true. Like, no matter that first sentence in crypto is very true. Like, there is just constant doubt lingering in crypto for sure. Maybe not from like hardcore hexagons and like ETH whales, but like everyone else. So
from your dad, from people who are not in crypto. Yes, there's a lot of doubt.
And even in crypto, though, there's people selling
true.
out everything, man. Like, they're scared because 95% dips will scare anyone that's not ready. Questions that were dodged until now have finally been answered. However, there are a few rough patches as well that might end up being nightmares for investors and entities if passed. But they don't know that to be true. At the same time, there are a few positive takeaways as well. Starting off with compliances, DAOs, exchanges, and stable coins, wow, everything we talk about on this show, providers would have to become registered entities. If not registered, they allegedly be subjected to taxes. That means layer ones in Ethereum, guys. Layer ones in Ethereum, basically everything that we use, DeFi, DAOs, exchanges, everything will be subjected to taxes. Many security laws have been repainted with clarity, and a host of assets have been reclassified as commodities under the CFTC. So go ahead for Sam for a second. What does that mean? If you know, like that just means they're switching the classification. Therefore, the tax bracket would be different.
Yeah. So right? If layer ones, and we'll just use layer ones as the example here, but let's say that layer ones are actually deemed to be a security, right? What does that mean if something is a security? So this is Investopedia, right? Security. This is like a Wikipedia type site, but all for financial related stuff. What is a security? The term security refers to a fungible, negotiable financial instrument that holds some type of monetary value. It represents an ownership position in a publicly traded corporation via stock, a creditor relationship with a governmental body, or a corporation represented by owning that entity's bond or rights to ownership as represented by an option. So what does that mean? Well, if something is classified as a security, you have the obligation to report a lot more stuff, right? But who's the person, who are the entities, and who are the organizations that look at this kind of stuff? Pension funds, mutual funds, hedge funds.
Explain that a little more. Like, how would that? So you're saying that there could be an easier influx of financial capital. Is that kind of what you're saying? So listen, guys, like he's talking about, he initially thought of this as a benefit. He never thought about the negative. He only thought this is what's going to happen anyway, right? So, and we all knew this. Like RG's been talking about this. Everyone's been talking about this legislation. It's happening now, guys. We're in a bear market. We don't know when it's going to bottom out. 11K Bitcoin. That's what Richard Hart seems to think. So you're saying this right here could actually make it easier and more open and more regulated, less worry for the average investor in the financial system already.
What does that mean? That means that we have institutional money, pension fund money, insurance companies money, all retirement accounts, all of this money dumping into layer ones in this example. What does that do when the tide comes in and we all have boats in wherever that's coming in, right? All the boats rise. This is it. This could potentially be the floodgate that opens if layer ones were regulated. Your dad would feel more comfortable.
Oh my God.
Even though that means literally by the regulations are always late. If there's regulations there, then there's not as much returns. Period. right? So if it's regulated, people like your dad, people like my friends' dads, people who have successful businesses, they have plenty of money.
Lots
are
of
willing-
money. That's the thing. These guys have lots of money. They make lots of real money. Like my dad probably will make more fiat this year than I'll make in 5 years. And I would assume that a lot of his capital could be used differently. And I would and if they knew what they could do, right? If they felt my dad is almost there, right? With Bitcoin, like he's kind of almost there. But again, like he has all these preconceived notions like about like a wealth and stuff. So like for him to work through all that, and I use him as an example because I don't know anyone else's shit. Like I talk to my dad more than I talk to like random people. So, that's just like my life experience with him and people. But we say the same things about everyone. We're young entrepreneurs with no family. It's necessarily like our mind space is just different.
You mentioned this before, I think before we got on or earlier in the show, about the adoption, right? Because and when is the best time to put this thing in place? For institutional money, right? These are the large, big bags of money that need their money to be placed in places. I've mentioned this before, that why people are buying single family homes. Why are giant companies buying single family homes forever? Taking those off of the market, because when they sell that single family home, you know how they're going to sell it? They're not going to sell it as a single family home. They're going to sell it as a portfolio of homes. Hey, I have 1,000 single family homes in the Florida 3 major markets. I will sell you this bag. They're not going to dismantle that bag. So these companies are doing this. You know why they're doing this? To get yield. Do you know where all the yield is? In freaking crypto. This could open the floodgates of adoption. We're at 3.5%, 4% of adoption globally in crypto. This, you know who else follows what the US does in terms of regulations? A lot of the effing world. And now imagine you're like, okay, well, the US has a ton of money to dump into shit, right? Completely get that. Well, there's a lot of other countries that follow or watch what the United States does, and then they might implement something slightly similar to that. And that stuff happens all the time. This could literally be, if this passes, if this type of thing actually comes forth and they are classified in this, we could see the most gigantic influx of money into an asset class that the world's probably ever seen. And you know whose bags that helps? Everybody who's holding it. Yes, exciting time. But go ahead. Let's get back into this article.
So guys, remember, when you're looking at all of this stuff, it's not always what it seems. DeFi is not there yet. It's just not. It's just not there yet anyway. I mean, tax-wise, obviously that's legislation and stuff. But like, as far as the DeFi we know and love, it's like, it's a nightmare. I mean, it is a nightmare. It's a nightmare of a buy wall to get in. It's about 6 months of research to have any idea what the fuck you're doing. And for the average person, probably a year. Because who has time and who knows about the Hex community? No one.
Oh, bro, if this takes a year to pass, guys, this is such a massive opportunity, because we're going to go from 4% adoption globally to 16% to 36% in a blink of an eye. In 36 months, you're going to you will not be able to recognize what has taken place.
People are worried, Sam, about people are worried about like the initial ethos of these. Before I start reading again, the initial ethos, people say Bitcoin lobbyists, DeFi's going to zero, right? But what do we know about tech? I mean, come on.
You can't stop tech.
You can't stop the vacuum, dude. Like,
correct.
You can't stop the microwave. It's just not stopping. Bitcoin is not there. It could be secure. It could be the S&P 500. It could be that, which is great. Major gains, good, safe investment, solid hedge against the rest of the market. Classic, right? It's just you're moving finance over. They're moving it over.
I don't think anybody should do what I'm about to say, but just want to put that out first. Yeah. Don't do what I do.
We're not doctors.
Okay. But not doctors, and I'm also not your accountant or your lawyer. I am going to be leveraging out of fiat to put into crypto. And people in this community are like, oh, I don't like leverage. Leverage is bad. Leverage is this and that and the other thing. People who don't know how to use leverage, right? Like you can leverage things in crypto, which I don't necessarily think could. You'd have to have really small leverage to reduce the amount of risk exposure you're getting from volatility. But the other way around, from fiat into crypto, proposes a lot of opportunity because you're basically draining. You said a vacuum. I'm going to be vacuuming out fiat. Oh, there's somebody who actually did what I was talking about, what I'm literally talking about right there. I'm just going to blow up Crypto Orca right there for doing this. Taking fiat as a loan and putting that into crypto. You're taking something from the dead corpus that is fiat and putting it into crypto, the thing that can actually pay this off very quickly. I'll do a video on this actually later today.
And one more side note before we read. Regulation and loans sometimes beneficial together, because what do we know about loans in crypto? Nothing.
Good point. Good. Yes. Good point there.
Nothing. Like everyone has a say. Crypto to crypto. Is it tax? Capital gains? What's your bank gonna think when you take out $1 million of leverage, guys? If you think that is a clear-cut answer, you are stupid. It's just not. I've never used Aave, but I know people that have, and I know people that know a lot about this stuff, and I still have trouble getting clear-cut answers because there's variables that people don't run into sometimes at their local bank rather than the PNC or the major M&T that they go to or whatever. Like, so, it's just a million variables for different banks. It's middlemen.
We don't have the clarity. We don't have the clarity in terms of what's happening with the IRS, in terms of regulations. We don't have the clarity around this, which scares some people, because if you were to take a loan, right? If you have $1 million of some bag and you put that into an Aave or fiat type protocol and you borrow against that, that could technically be construed as you selling like kind. So that just means like you could take this asset and you swap it for this asset, even though technically you still own this. The IRS easily could say, oh, you sold it. That's a tax liability right there, which would negate like the benefits of leverage to a certain extent, because now you got to pay taxes on this thing, which would be silly. But we don't have any clarity on this. We do not have any clarity on this. And without having this in here, people like, I'm going to use your dad just because we were talking about, but there's plenty of other people like your dad or that are in the institutional side of money that don't want to do things like that because there's not that clarity for them. And especially from a liability standpoint, if I'm managing 100 people's if I'm managing 100 people's money or other assets, do I want to put those people at risk? No. Because that means I personally, from the way I sit mentally, I would be like, fuck, that means I need to pay all these fuckers back that I lost all their money. So there's a lot of people out there who are not willing to take that risk because of the ambiguity that is around a lot of the crypto regulation piece of things. But if you want to pull that back up.
Yeah, guys, and almost 2K subs on the channel. The sub rate has been growing like absolute parabolic madness.
Biceps.
Guys, biceps in the chat for the sub count. Let's get to 2K subs as fast as possible. Share this out. We're going to get more into this article real quick. Let's pull it up. So let's go up just a hair. Okay, right here. The disclosure laws have been made stricter, and it's been near impossible for anonymous projects to existing. Separate provisions will respect to crypto exchanges. This is written funny. Were also outlined in the bill. Compliance costs are proposed to be risen. Investors,
wow, so the English in this article is...
Yeah, what is going on? Compliance costs are proposed to rise. Investors might have to indirectly bear the burden of the same as exchanges would try to recover the same via higher fees. Whoever wrote the video is article is an absolute non-English speaker.
Investors might have to indirectly bear the burden of the same as exchanges would try to recover. It's basically what the sentence is trying to say. If the costs go up for exchanges, and we don't know if they're talking about centralized exchanges or decentralized exchanges, who are you going to hold accountable at decentralized exchanges? I don't know. Who are you going to do? Right? It's a decentralized exchange. And I would bet, just because once you understand tech, I would bet a new iteration, a new version of Uniswap would come out that gets around the rules legally, right? So if the cost of bearing this extra compliance is high, what is Coinbase going to do? They're not going to take it out of their profits. They're going to be like, bitch, you fucking owe us more money. What? Like, they're not going to pay that bill. They're going to be like, you got to pay that bill, son.
So let's go further on, guys. Again, this article is written pretty poorly. Further, the bankruptcy definition have also been changed. The definition of bankruptcy has also changed. Would be the way you would write that. Per the bill, assets deposit. I did not finish a quarter of my first year of college, and I basically failed out of school for the most part. And I can tell that this dude's not a great writer. Further,
written by AI.
The clear-cut proposal might end up being a win-win for users if passed. Yes, true. Also, fee offsetting rules mean exchanges would have to pay the government from fees, and the same would likely escalate costs. Yes. So as we go down a little bit more, the bill has had a separate section dedicated to the terms of service, and users would have agreed to conditions based on source code version. Also, any updates to the source code would call for a fresh agreement. Additionally, that means you would have another agreement on Coinbase, it sounds like. Additionally, a cost of other regulators have been granted insectional power to investigate and provide advice on regulations in new areas. Let's read that one more time. Additionally, a host of regulators. Who's the regulators?
I got something to say about regulators when you're done with this.
Have been granted. Sam, you're granted intersectional powers. What does that mean? To investigate and provide advice. So you've been granted, regulators granted power, provide advice on regulations in new areas. Thank goodness for these regulators. The proposal also gives depository institutions the right to issue stable coins. Alongside the bill also clearly chalks out other compliance requirements and penalties.
Wow, that's interesting. Really quick on the governmental regulators. Governmental regulators are a lot of the times funded through the industries that they regulate, right? So given that if you, GRC, are funded by the people that you regulate, what is your incentive, right? Because we talk about incentives and we talk about game theory and we talk about, hey, if this thing is in place, then this creates an incentive for people to do this kind of thing, right? So if you're a regulatory body that gets funded by the industry and the companies or entities or protocols that you regulate, what is your incentive to do? Your incentive is to increase the number of companies and entities and protocols that you regulate. So your money goes up. So your income goes up. And you're like, people don't have the incentive. Yes. When I used to work in the military, and they would just utterly waste money so they could talk about how big their budget was that they ran to their friends. They couldn't give a shit how it was actually fucking run. Right? At all, whatsoever, multi-million-dollar budgets, right? Spent on stuff that was trivial, right? In a lot of ways, just so that they can talk about how they spent their budget, their friends, right? This is what happens in certain industries and regulatory bodies that oversee this kind of stuff. That's my opinion on that kind of stuff. But it looks like we have a little bit left to read on this article here. Opining on the regulatory bits. Something Ventures' Adam Crocan tweeted, they're all higher than we like, but at least it's clear and not rules via enforcement. What's more, the bill also intends to unify a few money transmission laws across states. Additionally, the information sharing landscape is set to become even smoother between agencies. That doesn't sound good. The last sentence there. It just means that the government's going to work together to F you up. right? They're gonna share information between multiple different agencies to come after you, kind of thing. And then the section here where it says transmission laws, the money transmission industry or size is gigantic. How many times have you met somebody that was from a different country that says they're over here working and they send money back to their family? There's boatloads of people who do that, and it is currently very cumbersome to do that. However, if you use crypto, it is easy. It's not somebody trying to stick their hands into your bag. You'd be like, hey, I'm gonna send money back to my family back home to help them out because I'm making more money than I need here, and I love my family and want to support them. And then on this side, you get charged a fee when they go to go around. And then say if it hits 2 or 3 different banks, whether it's a wire or not, you could be charged that along the way. And then when they grab money, say with Western Union on the far side, you also have the risk of getting attacked, right? That definitely happens. But also you can have an exit fee on this, right? So you're like, this is ridiculous. And there's billions and billions and billions of dollars on a daily basis that is going back and forth, back and forth. And the crypto gets around all of these rules. Let's go on to the next section here. What to make of it? Most people in crypto Twitter magnified the gray areas and outlined how the crypto landscape would end up becoming even more stricter going forward. Dogecoin's Billy Marcus, for instance, tweeted, scroll up a little bit or down a little bit on here if bullish is still there. Thank you. Here, go ahead. You read this one.
All right. So you want to go up from there?
Yeah.
Go to the top of the tweet right there. What to make of it? Most people on crypto Twitter magnified the gray areas and outlined how the crypto landscape would end up becoming even more stricter going forward. Dogecoin Billy Marcus, for instance, tweeted, looks like the new US bill that has been leaked goes hard against shit tokens, DAOs, DeFi, stablecoins, and exchanges. And again, it's just like the way you frame it, right? Kind of. So scroll down a little bit. And it just shows the burning shit. So, and nothing of value was lost. Scroll down a little bit more. Okay, so at this stage, it should be noted that the 4 leaked documents are likely the initial drafts of the bill. When presented, lobby groups would enter the scene and try to unbend the curve's opinion on the same, Cochrane said. P.S. Since this is just the first form of a bill, this is when the lobby groups will start to get involved and help try to shape it and iron out some of the clunky languages that would be problematic. So it in the 600 pages. So it isn't all hope lost. There is good intent here. He, however, also added, the only intent here is that they're saving their asses. I would say if it is, though, and if it passes in the form, it's good long-term for big entities, super painful near term for 99% of crypto. That's probably,
I don't know about that.
That's probably fair to say that 99% of crypto, if you really look at it, like he's right. Well, only 1% of crypto is probably the top 100.
It'd definitely be good for big entities and legacy.
I would say if it is, though, and if it passed in this form, it's good long-term big entities, super painful near. The leaked documents and the rules outlined above need to be taken with a grain of salt because authenticity of the same is not confirmed. Yeah, guys, what have we learned here? We have learned from looking at all this stuff, this is just pretty standard. It seems like from everything that I've heard from the people in crypto over the last 6 months, RG, they're doing the Hex Investment Trust. People know this is coming. There's no surprises here, guys. This has been in the works for a long time. Whether it probably won't pass. Who knows? You never know. This could be just some bullshit article we never read again. But at the same time, guys, it could be a step in the right direction, believe it or not, because the adoption, we're all in the US dollar anyway, right? So at this point, Sam, no one's buying anything with Hex. I'm not paying you with Hex. I'm not buying at the store with Hex. I'm not buying at the store with Bitcoin. I don't buy Bitcoin for shit. I think I paid for a paid course with Bitcoin that would be worth like 90 grand today.
Although I did just get a payment today from my store. If you guys want to check it out, shop.letstalkpeds.com. But I did receive a payment this morning in BTC. He was like, hey, I want to pay in BTC. I was like, cool, bro. Here's my address. Shoot me that shit. As soon as you do it, I'll send you the thing. So yes, but you're right. 99.999999999% of all transactions are done in dollars or fiat currency, and they're not done in crypto. And this is that bridge, right? We talk about the gap, right, between legacy and crypto from a knowledge standpoint, right? You were referencing it earlier with your dad, and you're like, hey, I'm talking about this stuff and studying this stuff every day for hours and hours, and you don't think I have an understanding of this better than you do just because you feel like you understand legacy. This can help bridge that Grand Canyon of a knowledge gap between the two worlds, because it's not just one is completely going to die off, because there's too many people in legacy that need to go somewhere. So the people in legacy, this is going to help be that bridge to bring a lot of those people over there. Now, with that being said, we do know fiat is going to die. This time in history is when the people take the power back. If you get into crypto before this stuff passes and before the floodgates really start to open in, and before institutional money, right? Because institutional money, what do we know about institutional money? It's going down in value. It's going down in value in the legacy system. When these bridges open and the floodgates start pouring in even faster than what they have been, they get to buy the assets that are going up in value. If you and all of your friends, this is how the people take the power back, is by buying the shit that's going to be going up in value before the big players get in and start buying it all up, and we end up with the same system. Look at Ethereum and Pulse Chain. Why is Ethereum getting diluted on Pulse Chain? GRC, why is Ethereum getting
because
diluted?
they don't want the people that own all the Ethereum to have any say in what's going on over in the Pulse Chain network, because they don't believe in the system, because they would have participated.
This is that with crypto. All the people in legacy, all the bad actors in legacy, they're not in crypto yet. There's bad players in crypto, but the people who have boatloads of money that are in legacy are not in crypto like we're in crypto. And this is the time where everybody else goes through, and we can take that power back because we can get in before them and start changing anything. So when they pour things in, it's just literally lifting our bags up. 100%. You want to touch on some of these comments quick?
Well, we got everyone in here. Just what a good episode, guys. We cut through a lot of that. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. It's a lot of the same. It's a lot of legacy making their way over. They have to make their way over, so they're going to write something. There's going to be some 600-page bill written. So let's cover it as fast as possible. Let's get involved with everyone understanding the power of what's going on here. Not necessarily, I don't care what you spend your last $1,000 on. You all can S my wee. Come on. I don't care. You could buy Hex, Bitcoin, whatever it is. It's not really the point for me. I'm not in the position to tell people what to do with their money, but I am in the position to tell people that technology is moving forward now. And if you don't see that, you are not alive. Because if you can see, I got 41 days after my car got wrecked, I was priced out for the same bill that I had for my car when I bought it a year before. It was $149 more for a monthly payment than when I bought the used car.
Wait, say that again?
I bought the 2019 used car that I bought last year. Again, I would be $149 diluted per month just because I got my car wrecked. And I had to wait to get a check. Then I went back and I was like, let's see what my car's value is. And it was just like wrecked. It's like 7. And then my, family's just like, this is how it always is. And I'm like, well, fuck off then. I don't want to be a slave. If I have the opportunity to do something the best, I'm going to try it, right? I'm going to try. They want to be like, oh, my dad was trying to explain to me how my house was going to retire me when I was 65. And I was just like, I understand what you're saying. And it makes sense for 70 years ago, 50 years ago, that was great advice. But today, when my house inflates 3 times the price, I cannot buy 3 more houses with it. I can buy 1. The same fucking house that I bought. It just has more money attached to it. It's just that the number's higher. So when I'm buying gasoline for $73 a gallon and my house is worth $3 million, I won't give a fuck because I'm spending 80 grand a year on gas. So just what? Please.
Gas in California is getting to $10 a gallon. I just saw somebody posted a screenshot or something like that where it's $10 a gallon for gas, or right near $10 a gallon.
Before we leave, Paladon, YZ, our media can just keep the FUD machine cranking. The crazier they get, the more crypto I buy. It's a more logical solution to any and every stupid idea that comes out of the machine. Yes, guys, software. It's our software versus their software with 100 middlemen in between it. You pick. Okay? You can have every United States senator trying to have a piece of your bag, or you can step away from that shit and you can go online, eat the taxes, and make 75,000 times more money than everyone else because it's early adoption. You know the parabolic line that's going to occur. If I woke up 5 years later, I would be like looking at the charts ready for craziness because I know the explosiveness of this.
The last thing before we wrap things up here, I know we had mentioned gas a couple of times, and I saw a couple comments here on the gas here. If you guys understand the adoption curve in crypto, right? You're like, okay, we're super early. We know by 2030 we're going to be. My estimates are 2027. We're going to be over 50% of the world population in crypto. You know where else this is happening, and you know what is going to also drive up gas prices even higher? We're doing the same. We're following the same exact adoption curve, but it's happening even earlier with gas cars and EVs. We're in the midst of it. I'm charging like $7 to charge my Tesla, right? Everybody else is paying $60. I drove my buddy to work this morning because he left his car at somebody's place. And he's like, yeah, I filled up my truck, $90. And he was like, I was at 3/4 of a tank. The same transition is happening with EVs and ICE engine vehicles. We're in this transition. So if you get ahead of that game, right? You get ahead of that game where you're like, Hex is the way. Hex is like the best in terms of crypto at this moment, right? For a lot of people. But that's Tesla in that world where you get something that is absolutely amazing, way better than everything else. 2 years, 40,000 miles, zero maintenance. Like I'm paying nothing to fucking charge the car. Absolutely. I don't even drive the car. The car drives itself. Like it's crazy shit. But that's the last thing I wanted to say on that because I saw some comments here. Plus you can get, I did a whole video on this if you guys want to check it out. You can get solar, new roof, and battery pack for your house and get crypto to pay for it. Like super crazy shit.
Guys, that's all we got today. We're here live every single day. I'm going on with RH Max at 4 p.m. Central Time. I think that's 7 p.m. Eastern Standard. I might have the time wrong on that, but I'm going on with RH Max later, guys. Make sure you follow me and Sam on Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube, guys. Sam Stolt, Jim Rat Crypto on everything, guys. We come here live every single day. We're covering everything first. And if there's someone covering it before me in the day, I'm going to copy their shit and do it better. Guys, have a wonderful day. It's your boy GRC and Sam. Let's friggin' go, fam.
You already know what time it is. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. 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 Waiting on phone. Crypto in the morning. Crypto in the morning. Smoking no blunt on my way to the gym. 11 a.m. and I'm already tuned in. Got me some hex and I'm making it stay. Got me some hedge on, I'm making it rain. Pay me some maxi and that's just in case. Jim Reddit sent me to show you the way.